Iran war situation, and we are live here to discuss Iran war updates. We analyze social media footages and reports which can be unverified at times. We analyze these unverified footages and reports purely from a documentary and educational point of view, strongly following the YouTube community guidelines. The news from today is that let's begin with this news that the biggest bridge in Iran comes tumbling down, says President Donald Trump, and he says that it's time for Iran to make a deal before it is too late and there is nothing left of what still could become a great country. So these are the visuals which we are sharing with you. These are the visuals when the biggest bridge in Iran was destroyed by US and Israel. President Donald Trump tweeted President Donald Trump posted this on his social media account and said that Iran should make a deal before it's too late. The biggest bridge comes tumbling down. This was the statement from Donald Trump. This is the event which happened today. The bridge was targeted, and after the target, Iran's bridge attacked for a second time in one day. The footage shows a strike on the B1 bridge in Iran's city of Karaj, with the Iranian state TV reporting that the US-Israeli attacks targeted the bridge twice on Thursday. The war has entered in its, let me calculate, the war has entered in its, now we have 35th day. The war is in its 35th day in some countries, and in some countries the war is in its 34th day. And it is still going on. President Trump has said, "We have bombed the biggest bridge in Iran and the bridge comes tumbling down. Time for Iran to make a deal before it's too late." President Trump posted this on his social media and said that Iran should make a deal before it's too late. And these are the visuals when this bridge was bombed by US and Israel twice in a day. This bridge was bombed twice in one day. Iranian press states that this bridge was bombed twice in one day, and President Trump said that Iran should make a deal and shows the footage, shares the footage of the bridge tumbling down. This is the visual which we are showing you, that this bridge was bombed twice a day. This bridge was bombed twice a day by US and Israel. This is one of the largest bridge that was bombed by US and Israel, and Donald Trump said that this bridge comes tumbling down, and he further says that Iran should make a deal now before 6th of April. And we have a poll for you. Please do vote in that poll. The poll is that will we see ceasefire? Pakistan and US are Pakistan and China are playing their role, and they are trying hard for negotiations to reach to the point of ceasefire. And so we have a poll that will diplomacy win, or will US bomb Iran to Stone Age? And President Trump has already said that if this ceasefire isn't reached and Iran doesn't make a deal, US will bomb Iran to Stone Age. These were his words. Or the third option is Iran will not concede and Iran will not surrender and Iran will actually dominate what do you think is the situation, and do please vote regarding your opinion. Do also take part in the poll, and also do ask questions and make the session interactive. We are sharing you the visual, and President Trump said that we have bombed Iran's biggest bridge, and it's time for Iran to make a deal before it's too late. And these are the visuals when this bridge was bombed twice in one day. The latest visuals. This bridge was attacked twice in one day. Iranian press TV reports this. Let's discuss some news from today. Some breaking news from today. The important news. Let's cover some important news from today. And the important news from today is that in a televised address from the White House, President Trump declared that the core strategic objectives of Operation Epic Fury are nearly complete. He stated that Iran's Navy and Air Force have been annihilated, and their nuclear program has been crippled. This was the statement of President Trump while address from the White House. This is basically a classic mission accomplished style pivot, and Trump is signaling to the US public that he wants a swift exit, likely to mitigate the rising domestic cost of the war before 2026 elections. So that's why he said that in a televised address from White House that the core strategic objectives of the Operation Epic Fury are nearly complete. So basically, this means that Trump is signaling to the US public that he wants a swift exit, likely to mitigate the rising domestic cost of the war before elections of 2026. These are the footages from Isfahan, shows a massive explosion at US Israeli airstrikes reported hit at Iranian missile base. This was one Iranian missile base was hit in Israel, and you see huge explosions there when Iranian missile base was hit. And now we have another news that despite talks of completion from President Trump warned that the US will hit Iran extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks to ensure they are brought back to the Stone Age if they don't surrender. That's why I have put that word Stone Age into my poll, and President Trump has said that warned the US will hit Iran extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks to ensure they are brought back to the Stone Age if they don't surrender. Here that to Iran do surrender. There's contradiction here by threatening a massive 21-day escalation while saying the mission is nearly over. The US is trying to force a psychological collapse of the IRGC leadership before the April 6th deadline. So you see here, Trump in the televised address has said that they have achieved their core objectives of the Operation Epic Fury. And again, in another comment, he said that this war could be prolonged 2 to 3 weeks if ceasefire doesn't reached, and they would be bombing US would be bombing Iran to Stone Age. So in these two statements, there is kind of contradiction. And my analysis about this contradiction is that by threatening a massive 21-day escalation while saying the mission is nearly over, the US is basically trying to force a psychological collapse of the IRGC leadership before the 6th of deadline, April deadline. We move to very important news. We are back with the live stream, and we are back with the live stream. Apologies from my side, and there is an internet issue, and due to that technical glitch and internet issue, the live streaming went off air for a couple of minutes, and now we are back with the live streaming, and we are analyzing the social media footages, um, which can be unverified at times, and social media footages which can be unverified at times, and we analyze those unverified footages and visuals. We analyze those unverified footages, reports, and visuals purely from documentary and educational point of view, strongly following the YouTube community guidelines. We strongly follow the YouTube community guidelines. We analyze the unverified footages and reports purely from educational and documentary point of view, strongly following the YouTube community guidelines. Apologies from my side because of a glitch. The live streaming went off here, and we are now back. Let's begin back with the news, and I was sharing you with the news that there are reports which suggest that U.S. military has presented a plan to seize nearly 1,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium from Iranian sites, and this would involve flying in heavy excavation equipment and building temporary runways inside Iranian territory. These are visuals which we are sharing with you. That video shows water from a burst pipeline flooding a steel street in Israel after it was damaged by debris from Iranian cluster munitions. Water flooded in streets in Israel after cluster munitions hit and made an impact in Israel. Cluster munitions from Iranian missiles made an impact, resulting in water flooding in streets. You can see these visuals from Israel, and these are courtesy Al Jazeera News, and these are the latest visuals from Israel. These are the latest visuals from Israel, courtesy Al Jazeera News, that the cluster munitions from Iranian missiles made an impact, and which resulted in the water pipe damaged and the flooding of streets. Let's come back to the main news that there are reports which suggest that U.S. military has presented a plan to seize nearly 1,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium from Iranian sites, and this would involve flying in heavy excavation equipment and building temporary runways inside Iranian territory. News, and the analysis of my analysis on this news is that this would be the most dangerous ground operation of the war, seizing nuclear material live risks a dirty bomb scenario or a localized nuclear accident if the IRGC chooses to sabotage the sites during the extraction. This would be very risky operation by US, and moreover, also the uranium has been hidden in the underground tunnels which run several kilometers deep underground, and their entrances have also been closed by Iran, and the tunnels run several kilometers deep. And the entrances have been closed, and the uranium has been hidden over there, and also that uranium would be heavily guarded as well, obviously, by Iran. And so this would be the most dangerous operation of the war, because seizing nuclear material live risks a dirty bomb scenario or a localized nuclear accident if the IRGC chooses to sabotage the sites during extraction. So reports suggest today that U.S. military has presented a plan to seize nearly 1,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium from Iranian sites. This was the breaking news now, which we are sharing with you. And let's move to another news. And before moving to another news, let's read your comments and try to answer your comments. And let's see how many votes in the poll we have received. Let's talk about the poll as well and see how many votes we have received, and let's see some of your comments, read some of your comments as well. While you see the footages, we read the comments. The bridge was under construction and hadn't been finished, and thank you for this update that you give us, Cecil BVS, and that's great. A great piece of information you have shared, so that if the bridge hasn't been finished and it was under construction. Ashraf Al Farouk says, good job, thank you. Sleepy Time Video says, hello everyone, hi. And show from Iran, I'm showing from Iran as well, and from Israel as well. Then the world would be safe. Is it live? The streaming is live, but the footages are the latest footages, the events which happened today, and some of them might be the events from the previous days or the days which have passed. And I will be telling you that if they are not of today, and if they are from some days back. So the visuals which we are sharing with you, they can be of today, and they can be of they are basically the mixed visuals, and we are providing you the analysis of these visuals. The visuals are mixed visuals, the latest visuals, as well as the visuals from the days before that have already passed, 1 to 2 weeks before as well, and from the start of the war as well. No, I am not Iranian. Touch 1990, Touch 93. I am not Iranian. Have received will Pakistan-China peace plan succeed before 6th of April? And we have this poll. We have received 49 votes up till now, and 22% of the people say that yes, diplomacy will win. 47% of the people say that no, US will bomb Iran to Stone Age, and 31% of the people think that Iran will not concede but dominate. So a big percentage, nearly half of the people voted, said that US will bomb Iran to Stone Age, as President Trump has already said this, that he would be US would be bombing Iran to the Stone Age. What do? I do live streaming, which I am doing right now. Let's come back to some more news, and before that I would request you to please subscribe the channel, and do subscribe the channel, and do also like the video as well. Do take part in the poll and the comments as well. Let's move to some more news. And the news is senior officials in Tehran have signaled that they will not reopen the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has already threatened that if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz, US will be bombing Iran to Stone Age. And despite those threats, senior officials in Tehran have signaled they will not open the Strait of Hormuz, come what may. And they have also said that we will not open the Strait of Hormuz even if ceasefire is reached and signed. So this is interesting. Iranians are saying that the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed even if ceasefire agreement is reached. The Strait of Hormuz will remain closed and we will never open it. unless the US and Israel provide long term strategic concessions like the permanent lifting of all sanctions. So, Iran is using Strait of Hormuz as leverage strategy. And this is big news. This is basically big news that Iran is saying, despite US threats and despite US threats, Iran is saying that they will not open the Strait of Hormuz, even if ceasefire is reached. They will not open the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz will be opened in only view and condition, and that is Israel and US provide long-term concessions, strategic concessions to Iran, and those include the permanent lifting of all sanctions on Iran. Using Hormuz as leverage here. My analysis on this is that Iran is using the global economy as hostage, and they know the longer the strait is closed, the more pressure US allies like Japan and South Korea will put on Washington to end the war at any cost. So, Iranians are playing smart here. They have closed the Strait of Hormuz since day one of the war, and it's been 35 days that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Despite much efforts, US has not succeeded and Israel has not succeeded in opening the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has closed the strait since 35 days since the beginning of the war. So Iran is using the global economy as hostage. They know the longer the strait is closed, the more pressure US allies like Japan and South Korea will put on Washington to end the war at any cost. And news we are sharing with you now, we have big news, and the big news is that Australia has reportedly declined a US request to send naval assets to the Middle East against Iran and for opening the Strait of Hormuz. This is big news and big breaking news that Australia has reportedly declined US requests to send naval assets to the Middle East against Iran and for opening the Strait of Hormuz. And this is not for the first time that a NATO country flatly refused to help US and flatly refused a US request. Earlier, 5 countries refused to help, and they were big countries. 5 big countries refused to help US, and they declined US requests. And now Australia becomes the 6th country to deny the request of US. Australia becomes the 6th NATO country which denied the US the request. US requested Australia to send its troops and naval assets to the Middle East against Iran and for opening the Strait of Hormuz, and Australia said no. Earlier, America requested Poland to send Patriot interceptors to the Middle East to help manage the incoming barrage of Iranian missiles and drones, which Poland refused. And while you see US is asking for from interceptors from Poland, Patriot interceptors from Poland, what does that signal? That signal that US and Israel are concerned about their low stock of interceptors. They do believe that if this war gets prolonged for 2 to 3 or 4 weeks, then most probably they would be running out of their interceptors. That's why they demanded from Poland to send interceptors to Patriot interceptors to Middle East, which Poland refused. So that was the first country Poland became to refuse US request. Then Spain, you see, we all are familiar that from the very first day, Spain said Spain didn't allow US to use its naval and air bases, and Spain closed its airspace for US to be used against Iran. So these were two countries. Now France and Italy refused to have also denied US the landing rights. US bombers and planes, France and Italy denied the landing rights, and they didn't allow the airspace to be used, and they denied landing rights as to US bombers and jets as well. So 4 countries it makes, and the fifth one was Turkey. Turkey criticized US and said that this war is should be stopped, and this is not there was no kind of reason to start this war. So Turkey criticized it diplomatically, and now Australia becomes the sixth country which refused to send its naval assets and troops to be used against Iran for opening the Strait of Hormuz. So 6 countries, NATO countries, have denied US the request which US was going to make and asking help. And that is a huge denying a superpower. It shows you and signals you that US is fighting this war alone with Israel, and NATO is alone in a sense that NATO isn't helping US, and NATO is making things difficult for US. NATO is making things difficult for US, and Trump wasn't happy on NATO, and so the future of NATO is uncertain. And basically, this is a soft way to challenge US and to challenge the status of US as a sole superpower. So here we see NATO countries denying US their requests is kind of a soft way to challenge the superpower status of US. So US here has clearly been in trouble. These are the visuals, wild footage of Iran striking a US base in Jordan after interceptors failed to stop the attack. Look at here that Iranian missiles attacked US base in Jordan, and these are the visuals. Here comes Iranian missiles, and you will see Iranian missiles making an impact because interceptors failed to intercept incoming Iranian missiles. Interceptors failed to intercept incoming Iranian missiles, and in Jordan a US base has been hit by Iranian missiles. The interceptors failed to intercept the incoming Iranian missiles, and there is the impact. There you see, that was huge. That was huge. Now let's move to another news, which is that Iran recently attacked Aqua 1 oil tanker. Iran has attacked the Aqua 1 oil tanker leased by Qatar near Ras Laffan. Ras Laffan is that same gas facility which was hit by Iranian drone, and 17% of that got damaged. So Iran has now recently attacked the Aqua One oil tanker that was leased by Qatar. Iran is no longer just hitting enemy ships, but hitting Qatari and Panamanian flagged vessels. They are sending a message to the Gulf states: if we can't export oil, no one can. Basically, they are saying that if we can't play, we'll not let anyone play as well. So Iran is no longer just hitting enemy ships, but by hitting Qatari and Panamanian flagged vessels, they are sending message to the Gulf states that if we can't export oil, no one can. And Iran has attacked the Aqua One oil tanker that was leased by Qatar. Before moving to some more news, let's read your comments and take your questions. Let me read your comments. Iran, good, keep it close till very interesting. Keep it close till it leaves the Middle East. Iranian the President Trump. Iran's leadership. Yeah, Iranians love President Trump. Trump said that Iran did ask President Trump to become the supreme leader of Iran, and I hope and I feel that President Trump was kidding here, and it is not a war, it's a military operation. Okay, you can say that it is a military operation. Is Iran still powerful to keep going? Yes, Sachin Abdullah, Iran is still fighting, and you see here that yes, Israel and US have clear air and naval superiority over Iran, but Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, and this is their strategy, and they are using that as a leverage, and they are basically hostage the global economy, and they have taken hostage the global economy, and they are conducting the strikes using their drones and the missiles, and so Iran is refusing to surrender and is fighting now, and the axis of resistance Hezbollah and the Yemeni Houthis are also fighting. Yes, I answered your question. Why would USA open Hormuz when they hardly use 1% of the oil passing through the Hormuz? It's not only the oil which passes through the Strait of Hormuz. A lot of trade happens other than oil through the Strait of Hormuz, and the global impact which is being caused to many countries, they would be pressurizing US to open the Strait of Hormuz, and that's why US is interested in opening the Strait of Hormuz and also giving ultimatums to Iranians, which Iranians say that they don't care about. This is their perspective that Iranians say care about, and we will not open the Strait of Hormuz. And and it's a logical thing as well. If US isn't affected by the closure of Strait of Hormuz, why US is interested in opening the Strait of Hormuz if it isn't affected by the Strait of Hormuz? Well done, Australia. Hormuz blocking is a problem for China, India, EU, and other, not the problem of Israel or USA. Please try to understand that if it is not the problem of USA or Israel, then why are they hell-bent on opening, and why are they repeatedly questioning and why are they repeatedly asking and requesting the NATO countries and to come forward and to open the Strait of Hormuz? If US isn't affected, they shouldn't be caring about it. Let the strait be closed for as long as Iran wants. If US isn't affected, still US are trying to eradicate this who were blocking it. It's the government USA, the police of international rules implementation, the ultimate boss. Iran already lost the war when its supreme leader died. Like Iran will, its Chinese defense system over 69 billion cannot secure its supreme leader. Good, no more business or protection to those countries. The United States needs to leave, and the US needs to leave. The US needs to leave NATO. Yes, President Trump is not happy with how NATO has left President Trump alone to fight Iran, and NATO has also refused to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran has always weak leaders. Always Muslims have weak leaders. Also impeach Donald Trump. A comment. Assalamu alaikum. I'm from Indonesia. May Allah be pleased with me. Ameen. There was a comment, who is Allah? Allah is our creator, your creator, my creator, and everyone's creator. Impeach. Where has this comment gone? Where was I? Now, please do take part in the poll as well. Iranians had suffered a lot from this regime, and how hungry for the freedom from this. Watch guide to go more about Iranians' view on this war. I thought Qatar is siding with Iran. No, Qatar is not siding with Iran. Basically, the issue of Qatar is. We are back with the live streaming. We are back with the live streaming, and the live streaming went off air. Apologies from my side that the live streaming went off air. The live streaming went off air. Apologies from my side. And we are analyzing the social media footages which can be unverified at times. We analyze the social media footages which can be unverified at times purely from educational and documentary point of view, strongly following the YouTube community guidelines. I was reading your comments when the live went off air due to some technical faults and glitches. And we are analyzing the social media footages that can be unverified at time purely from educational and documentary point of view, strongly following the YouTube community guidelines. And I was telling you that Australia has refused to send its troops to Australia has refused to send its troops and naval assets to help US in opening the Strait of Hormuz. And this is a big news that Australia has refused President Trump and US to basically US had requested the naval assets and troops to be used against Iran and for opening the Strait of Hormuz, but Australia has refused to send the troops as well as its naval assets for opening the Strait of Hormuz. And President Trump is already not happy with the NATO countries refusing to open the Strait of Hormuz, and already Poland has already refused to send its Patriot batteries. Poland has already refused to help Poland has already refused to send its Patriot batteries to the Middle East. Spain, Italy, France denied landing rights and use of their airspace. So NATO, the future of NATO is uncertain, and do take part in the poll as well, the poll we have created. And let's read your comments, some of your comments. I was reading your comments when this live streaming went off air, and let's start again with reading your comments, and let's see your comments again. You should all be clear about the fact that you are propagandists and you are doing this for Israel. I thought Qatar is siding with Iran. I was replying to your this question that no, Qatar is not siding with Iran. Basically, the problem of Qatar is that Qatar has hosts U.S. bases, and U.S. is using Qatar's bases to attack Iran. That's why Iranians are attacking back on Qatar's energy facilities, and Qatar itself hasn't attacked Iran yet. So this is the between what this is what going on between Qatar and Iran. People of Iran call for help to Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump, and they come for help to the suffering from this dictator. Free Palestine in Iran, free Palestine, free. Watch Raza Pahlavi's speech at Quebec, where he described how Khamenei regime tortured Iranians. Why Muslims don't know what they pray, who's to. Please make this session an interactive one and do relevant questions, and do remain attached and focused on what the topic is. Don't target the beliefs of I am requesting again that please do stick to the topic and don't do some the comments which are irrelevant. Let's see, we have received 50 votes, and the question of the poll was that will diplomacy win, or will US bomb Iran to Stone Age, and or will Iran not concede or but dominate? 43% of people said that Iran will be bombed to Stone Age by US, and 31% of people said that Iran will not concede but dominate, and 27% that diplomacy will win. This is it for now, and let's before leaving this live streaming, I'll request you to please subscribe the channel and do subscribe the channel and do like the video as well, and prayers for you, and time for break, and take care of yourselves.